This lecture is for ALevelEconomics students to learn how resources are allocated in different economic systems. An overview of resource allocation in different economic systems. Understanding economic systems is the method to produce, distribute, and consume goods and services. An economic system is the structure, institutions, and mechanisms by which a society organizes the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. It determines what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce, based on available resources, cultural values, and governing rules. In simple terms, it is the way a country manages its resources, businesses, and decision-making to meet the needs and wants of its people. Think of it as the operating system for a country's economic activity. It answers the fundamental economic questions of what to produce, how to produce it, and for whom to produce it. Importance of economic systems in resource allocation. Resources like land, labor, and capital are scarce. Economic systems provide the mechanisms and rules for deciding how these limited resources will be used to satisfy the unlimited wants and needs of a society. Different economic systems approach this allocation process in distinct ways, leading to varying outcomes in terms of efficiency, equity, and economic growth. Without a system, resource allocation would be chaotic and inefficient, potentially leading to shortages, surpluses, and overall economic instability. Importance of economic systems in resource allocation. Decide how scarce resources are used. Determine what goods and services are produced. Decide how goods are produced. Allocate who receives goods and services. Aim to balance efficiency, equity, and growth. Types of economic systems. There are three types of economic systems. In a market economy, decisions about production and consumption are primarily made by individuals and private firms, driven by self-interest and the forces of supply and demand. There is minimal government intervention. Key characteristics: private ownership of resources, free markets where prices are determined by supply and demand, competition among businesses, profit motive as the primary driving force, limited government intervention. Resource allocation. Resources are allocated based on consumer demand and the profitability of producing goods and services. High demand and high potential profits attract more resources to that sector. In a planned economy, the government makes most economic decisions, including what to produce, how to produce it, and for whom. Resources are collectively owned. Key characteristics: public or state ownership of resources, centralized economic planning by the government, limited or no private ownership, less emphasis on competition and profit. Resource allocation. Resources are allocated according to the government's plan, which aims to meet the needs of society as a whole. A mixed economy combines elements of both market and planned economies. Most modern economies are mixed, with varying degrees of government intervention in otherwise market-based systems. Coexistence of private and public ownership. Market mechanisms play a significant role, but are regulated by the government. Government intervention to address market failures, provide public goods, and promote social welfare. Resources are primarily allocated through market forces, but the government influences this allocation through regulations, taxes, subsidies, and direct provision of certain goods and services. Understanding economic systems is crucial for grasping how resources are allocated and managed in society. Each system, market, planned, and mixed, has unique characteristics that influence economic decision-making and resource distribution. Key differences in economic systems. Economic systems influence the distribution of wealth and opportunities in society. Global trends. Privatization in mixed economies has shifted many planned economies toward market-oriented systems. Economic growth often depends on finding the right balance between market freedom and government control. Let's review our lesson. Economic system determines how resources are allocated. There are three types of economic system: market, planned, and mixed economies determine how resources are allocated. In market economy, there is allocation by price mechanism according to demand and supply. Encourages efficiency and innovation, but may result in inequality and market failures. For example, Hong Kong. In planned economy, there is centralized government control, reduces inequality, but often result in inefficiencies and shortages. For example, North Korea. Cuba. Mixed economy combines market forces with government intervention, balance, efficiency and equality, but faces challenges in maintaining the balance. For example, UK, Singapore, China. Thank you for your attention and participation.